Hello, friends. Welcome to the Dateable Podcast, where we dig, dive, and what's another word? Dig, dive,
Digest.
and digest. Modern day. I like it. We got to do it's a rule of threes, you know? You got to do three of them, the 3Ds.
3Ds.
Welcome back from a very, I'm sure, kind of heavy holiday week. And now we're getting into the tail end of our holidays. It's just so wild that we look forward to this time all year long, and it only lasts for 2 weeks. That's it. It's such a short amount of time.
Yeah, and it's expensive as fuck to travel. I
Yes,
feel that as, someone I was sharing last week that I went to or was in Florida, then New York, and it's a lot of I look at like the alerts I'm getting now for prices to all of these places, and it's like a fraction of the price when it's not on the holidays. It's so brutal because they know everyone's traveling this time of year.
You have to. It's the only time that people have off and have a reason to travel. It's so sad, but it's a good time at the same time because you get to celebrate. It's worth it to spend that money, right? You can just say it's worth it. And we're headed into the grand finale of the year where we bid farewell to 2022. You've been kind to us. I think 2022 has been quite
a good year.
Nice to us. Yes.
It's been a good year. So what are your New Year's plans then for 2023? Or 2022, I guess, technically.
None. Hang out with my parents and maybe fall asleep before midnight. I don't think there are going to be any
What happened
plans.
to the UA that I used to know?
I know. You don't like New Year's Eve. But
I don't.
We've celebrated it before. It's never what you think it is. It never turns out the way you want it to.
I feel like, though, for years, you were always trying to get, like, everyone to go to, like, some club or some place that you could dance.
Yeah, that had an event.
MO.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd rather be with my friends dancing. But at the same time, I understand it's sweaty, it's crowded, it's expensive. The open bar is always busy with people. You can't get a drink. It's not a great time if you think about it that way. So I could see us just having a dance party at home one of these days.
I feel like I still don't know what I'm actually doing on New Year's, so I'll be in New York City, and my partner and I were pretty much like, let's go to a restaurant as close as possible to my uncle's place so we don't have to get wrapped up in it, but now Kiana's going to be here, so we might end up doing something. We'll see. One of our good friends moved to New York, so she'll be, at first, it's like always that time that you don't know who's going to be back, who's not, but she will be back. So we'll see. We might end up doing more.
You need to go to my favorite bar, Upper East Side.
Oh my God.
Mad River.
Oh,
just
my
do
God.
it.
I feel like of all the places in New York, all of our listeners in New York are probably cringing so hard right now.
That's like,
they're like, do not go to Mad River.
Yeah, it's like if you told people who are visiting San Francisco to go to Bar None for New Year's Eve.
Oh my God,
the
it
equivalent.
is. That place doesn't exist anymore. It's out of business. Did you know that?
It's so sad. My 20s are gone with that business.
I feel like every city has a Mad River or a Bar None or somewhere that you loved in your 20s, and then you go back in your 30s and you're just like, why did I love this so much? I mean, there's the nostalgic end of it, but I feel like, objectively, they're not good bars.
As a grown-ass woman, yes, they're not good bars. But when your judgment's impaired and you're just looking for a good time, it's never a bad idea. In fact, Bar None does exist in many different cities. I don't know if it's the same chain, but it brings the same vibe.
I actually think it's in New York also. Yeah.
It is. Yep.
Yeah. So do you remember, of course you remember, but our listeners probably don't, when UA and I went to New York, this was in October before the pandemic. We went there to do a live show, and we went to Mad River because we were both staying at my uncle's house also, and Mad River was close by. Maybe we will end up at Mad River. Let's be honest. There is a possibility this could happen.
You're going to do it. Do it for
I'm going to report back and be like, New Year's Eve 2023, rung it in at Mad River after I made fun of it for an hour. And we went to Mad River, and you had, it was me, you, and Kiana, and we went there and we started talking to the bartender. And I don't know how we clearly talked about Dateable, and we got him on this. He was just a funny guy. Like, he was just like such the epitome of just like this guy that basically told us about all his sexual conquests. He was like what you think of as just like kind of like the ultimate bro, like the frat bro type guy, but he like bartender stereotype. I hate to stereotype, but like he was that stereotype of just like after a shift, he'd go home with whatever girl was there. Like he was really just going for it. And he decided that he thought it'd be fun, or maybe we all decided that we should do a live session with him.
Yes, we did.
And interview him for the podcast, which we did. We had all of our gear. We came to the bar the next day, and I remember
we came back.
Yeah, we came back, and he was like talking to us, and then like someone would come over for like help with an event, and he'd be like, I'll be right back, I need to go help them. And I think we like Facebook lived it too. It was hilarious. But he just kept giving us drinks. He kept just being an open book. I feel like he had no filter. It was amazing.
That's why I love Mad River. Those are the type of people who work at Mad River, and you never know who you're going to meet. In fact, the other day, you know what, the Citizen app, when your friend joins the app, it'll alert you. It'll say so-and-so, but it's like pulled from your contacts. The other day, I got an alert that said, Alex, Mad River bartender, joins
Oh
Citizen.
my God, stop.
It's not that guy we met.
Okay.
It's a bartender I met, like 20 years ago in New
Oh
York
my
that I hooked
goodness.
up with, and he was in my phone as Alex, Mad River bartender. Who knows what he's doing now? I'm pretty sure he's not a bartender at Mad River, but that brought me back memory lane thinking, wow, okay, Mad River days.
Who
This
knew
episode
that
is
Mad
sponsored
River?
by Mad River.
I was gonna say, who knew Mad River was gonna get so much unsolicited press? They are so excited right now. Although I don't know. I guess any PR is good PR, right? Isn't that the saying? Even if we talk about kind of like it being a dump, yeah, it's.
Let me just verify that they're still open.
Oh my God. Hey, my New Year's plans came and went real fast. If they're not, that's a bummer.
It looks like they're still open, and they got
Okay.
4.7 stars on Facebook.
Okay. Well, it was very close by to where I'm going to be. So for that reason alone, it might win out for New Year's. We'll see.
Okay, yeah, and then on Facebook it says they are doing a New Year's Eve party.
Oh,
So
God.
there you go.
Okay. We'll see what happens. We'll
No
be like,
pressure.
no pressure. Yes. I'm like, call you like I'm not at Mad River.
Such a good time. Okay, but this is not giving me much hope. Everything on their Instagram are from 2020. This is not
Oh,
good.
really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Nothing past
Shit.
2020. Maybe they're no longer open. I'm
Wait,
sorry.
but it says
Julie.
there's a New Year's party this year, or is it just like a generic one from 2020?
I think it was a generic one.
Oh,
Oh, dang.
Okay.
Okay.
damn.
We'll do some
Well.
research.
Okay,
Yikes.
well, I feel like we've given way too much time to Mad River. I hope everyone enjoyed that segment. But
And this episode is about Mad River. Here we go.
this episode, actually, I feel like everyone's in for a treat today because I don't think I even knew how much of a treat I was going to get going into this podcast. You all remember we did an episode last season, Who Will You Meet in the Wilds, with Will Rockland, season 14, episode 3. So people love this episode because he basically talked about him and his wife, how they met in the wild on vacation.
On a solo trip.
Solo trip, totally out of nowhere. They ended up having, a lot of mutual friends. They met halfway around the world. And it wasn't just that. We talked about their entire love story of just like how a lot of it was like sliding doors, that one of them was ready at some time and the other one was pulling back. And, eventually they got it right. They got married. They moved in together. They lived in the same city, all of that. But it was a very, like, I feel like there was a lot of questions I still had even listening to the story of just, okay, it seems like all the odds are stacked against you two of just how difficult this is and, you know, how far apart you all live. They were doing long distance for many, many months. They had a lot of breaks in between, yet it worked out. So we wanted to get Amy, who's UA's friend, who I've heard so much about, and she was just such a delight. And honestly, I couldn't even imagine like how much we got out of this episode. UA and I both were like, this needs to be the season finale.
Just warm and fuzzy. And what I like about this conversation is that it's so fucking real. It's so real. This is not what you're expecting, y'all. This is not some rom-com where it's like, ooh, two people meet in Italy and they fall in love and they get married. Yeah, on paper it looks that way, but Amy will add so much more color to this. And at the end of the story, you'll get to hear the ultimate takeaway is the story is not about Will or their love story. It's about her. It is her. She is the hero in this story, as we all should be in our own stories. And why this is still an evolution for her. Why is she still working on this? It's not a love story that just ends in success. That's not what it is. It's a love story that's just starting.
Yeah.
And the nuggets that she's learned along the way has even brought me closer to her, because I realize, wow, we're not alone in this. So much of what she says, I just feel like, okay, I'm not on my own island in thinking about love in this way. Because sometimes we think love is so black and white. You're in love with someone, therefore it should work out.
Yeah.
That's not how easy it is. Love is very complicated.
I feel like no one talks about that, like how relationships are fucking hard and love is hard. And we talk about how dating is hard, and I don't want to minimize that because dating is also fucking hard. But once you're in a relationship, I know for me, like the balance of putting my needs first, but also being able to like see and hear and understand my partner and figure out a compromise and where we can meet in the middle. It's like such, you know, you're kind of like pulling on two ends all the time, which makes it difficult. But you also, what I've learned from this episode too, it's like you also really need to just like put yourself first and stay true to your own needs ultimately, because that is the number one thing that you have with you at all times. So while like I still very much believe in love and relationships, I think the part that I feel like for so long I missed was like that it's a continuously advocating for your needs. And I'm saying that for someone like, I feel like my relationship's like healthy. Like I'm not saying that in a way that like in the past I could look at like just these are bad relationship dynamics. I almost feel like it's harder when you're like on paper and in theory everything is going well, yet there's still things that are hard because you're bringing two people together, and there's no way that can't be hard.
And you also see the story is you could get your relationship in a really good place, and then something in life happens.
Yes.
And then it tests your relationship time and time again. Just because you can get your relationship to a good place doesn't mean that it's always going to stay there. And that is okay, right? That's okay for us to think about. And this idea of like fight or flight is also kind of in our own nature to do in relationships, and why that could be detrimental to you and your partner too. So much to think about, whether you're in a relationship or you're not in a relationship. This is a very productive conversation about how you can be the hero of your own story and know that everybody is just a character in your movie. And we should treat it that way, that yes, there are significant characters, but you are the ultimate, you know, like the main character here.
Yeah. And, you know, I feel like it's this after the curtains roll that like what happens in the rom-com after these two people get together. I feel like there's this misconception if people aren't exactly ready at the same time on the exact same timelines that it can't work out or there is no love. And the more like through this episode, my own personal experience, I'm just learning that like, again, we're bringing two people together that have different belief systems, life experiences, interpretations, all of stuff that just makes us two individuals coming together, which is hard. It's hard.
It's very hard. It's very hard.
But worth it. We worth it. Yes.
That's why we saved this as our season finale. It's our gift to you. It truly feels like a present. So
Yes.
you're welcome, but we're also going to unwrap this gift with you. This is the end of season 15. It's not the end of Dateable. It's not the end of our content. It just means we're going into the off season, still bringing you new content, just no interviews or guests, but taking a little break, and then we'll come right back with season 16 in the new year.
Yeah, so we'll be back around Valentine's Day, take a little breather, and, we'll be also taking a little break from Brunch Talk, but that doesn't mean you can't get your questions in. Keep them coming. Send us hello@dateablepodcast.com. Send us your Brunch Talk questions. Say hello, especially during the holidays. We always like just hear from you all. And follow us on Instagram @dateablepodcast. We love getting messages in the DMs, and also, of course, on posts. That's always fun, and stories. Love any interaction there. It really helps us stay engaged. And of course, love in the time of Corona, the sounding board. There's going to be some virtual holiday gatherings, all the good stuff with the Dateable community. And, last but not least, share this with a friend. Everyone deserves this gift. And then give us a gift. 5-star review in Apple Podcasts. That's all we ask for this year. We're easy.